Just hours ago, a massive new update was announced for the staging branch for the console version of Rust. This Rust console staging branch is where all updates and features and fixes go before they go to the main branch of Rust. So looking at these changes will tell us what we can expect in the next month. And these changes are massive. We have a ton of fixes, and even more exciting, they've added a new feature. And because I don't bury the lead, that feature is fishing. If you like the fact that I don't waste your time, please hit subscribe, and let's just get into the list of changes, because this one is literally massive. I saw this and I was blown away. So here we go. New features. Added the handmade fishing rod as a craftable item. And because of that, of course, they added catchable fish to ocean, rivers, and swamps. If you guys are really talented, maybe one of the fish will kill you. But honestly, just getting fishing added, it signals a whole change in the way that the console version Rust is going. It's not just about monuments. It's not just about fixing things. It's not about introducing more PvP features. They're introducing a quality of life fix that's going to give you a lot more to do to the game, and it's hopefully going to round it out so it can be a little bit better for those of us who are into a little bit of roleplay. And no, I'm not talking about what you're doing with your bros on a Friday night. Anyways, let's get into the other changes. So changes, turn on lights at the oil rig, so that's cool. Improve the flight path of Chinook helicopters as they approach and land on oil rig. Reduce the accuracy of heavy scientists when they fire from long ranges. Increase the no build zone at the dome around Oxum's gas station and the sewer branch. So these are no game breaking or game changing features, but they are actually really nice to have. Having lights at the oil rig, definite improvement. I like the way it looks, so that I'm all good with that. Heavy scientists no longer have that aimbot, which is always nice, although there's a lot of players out there with some interesting scripts going on in the background. And the improved flight path and no build zone, I really don't have any opinions on, but cool. Crash fixes. Fix to crash that could occur when players get kicked for being idle. If they get kicked for being idle, who cares, but whatever. Fix to freeze that could occur when entering the options menu just before the death screen appears. And again, you're already dead, so who really gives a shit, but whatever. Monument fixes. During the oil rig event, stopped heavy scientists shooting at players from inside the Chinook before it lands at the monument. That is a little bit overpowered. Fixed large oil rig locked crate respawning before all heavy scientists have been killed. Fixed blue and red keycard doors at oil rig closing before the monument gets reset. Fixed rubber banding and collision issues at the oil rig. Fixed gaps in the floor at the lowest level of oil rig not being transparent. Fixed floating barrels on the oil rig. Fixed texture issues at the oil rig. Fixed being able to draw weapons inside safe zones. Fixed players being unable to reach some areas of the dome. Fixed level of detail distances in tunnels underneath the launch site and the airfield. Fixed the roof of the airfield silo towers eating anything thrown at them. I don't know why that matters, but cool. Fixed flickering textures on top of airfield hangars. Fixed gambling wheel not spinning smoothly at the bandit camp. Fixed bet quantity on the gambling wheel not updating properly when adding or removing a scrap. Fixed metal beams in the lighthouse not having collision. Fixed sign for repairs being in the wrong place at the outpost. Fixed players being able to clip through awnings above the work post. Fixed players being able to draw dicks on the oil. No, that's I made that up. Weapon and item fixes. Fixed Spaz 12 shotgun not automatically reloading when a different ammo type is selected. Fixed being unable to remove attachments from multiple grenade launcher. Fixed missing reload animations on the multiple grenade launcher. And let's be honest, that was game breaking. Fixed visual issues on the Halo sight and simple handmade sight. Fixed unneeded prompt for unloading ammo appearing on the smoke grenades. Fixed arrows sometimes becoming invisible during combat. I sort of like my invisible arrows. I thought that was a perk. Fixed some weapons not having a glowing outline when they dropped on the ground. Fixed being able to place locks on auto turrets. Fixed some wow, who's placing locks on auto turrets? Fixed some building blocks not being upgradable. Fixed being able to place objects where they clip through L-shaped and U-shaped stairs. Fixed rubber banding on triangle ladder hatch, sorry about that. Fixed incorrect shadow levels on twig walls. And again, shadow levels, that's game breaking. People can hide in shadows, and I don't know where I'm going with that. Fixed the wooden shop front not being a default item in the crafting menu. I didn't know that was supposed to be a thing. Interesting. Fixed missing information messages when repairing a structure that has been recently damaged or when you don't have enough resources. Fixed quick drop option not dropping broken items from the hotbar. Fix the candle hat making player feet shadows look weird. Nobody wants their player to look weird, but a lot of you ended up with some weird looking fuckers. Fixed incorrect time display when using the diving tank. Fixed the hoodie being able to craft outside of workbench 2 radius. Fixed the water barrel having the wrong description. Vehicle fixes. So they're adding cars to the game, but that's not a big deal. They're not adding cars. Fixed boats not decaying when parked on structures just above the ocean surface. Fixed RHIB causing a water splash effect when engine is turned off. Again, another game breaker. Fixed repositioned collider for rowboat storage, so it's easier to access when inside a boat. Fixed gestures not working when sat in a boat. And how long is it going to be before they sell gestures to us via the skin store? Anyone want to place bets on that? Before or after community servers? World fixes. Fixed missing shadows for some road signs. Fixed destroyed barrel fragments clipping through the ground. Fixed texture issues on rusty barrels. Fixed some bus stops facing away from the road. Reduced possibility of barrels clipping into walls. Fixed missing collision at the top of palm trees. Fixed a spot where players could get stuck between ice sheets. Fixed seaweed growing out of the ocean. And surprisingly, there's still more fixes. So we've got UI, audio, and skin fixes coming up. This is a lot of fixes. I feel like this is just too much in one video, but we've got to do it because honestly, they dropped a shit ton of updates, and I'm more than glad to see this. Honestly, this is going to... A lot of these fixes seem very minor, but this is going to smooth out gameplay for a lot of different people having a lot of different issues. Those of you with issues related to your personal skills and hygiene, I suggest showering and actually going outside. UI fixes. Fixed health bars not appearing correctly on damaged structures and NPCs. Fixed grid lines sometimes disappearing when zooming out the map. Fixed the map not panning to sleeping bag clusters when scrolling through them. Fixed a hang caused by leaving a server from the respawn screen and then trying to reconnect. Audio fixes. Fixed audio transition when other players enter and leave water. Fix missing impact audio when shooting trees. Fix missing audio effect when moving between inventory and crafting menus. Fixed audio effect when repairing objects coming from the center of the object instead of the impact point. I don't know exactly what we're talking about there anymore, but whatever. Fix the audio when opening high external gates being too quiet. So the audio is going to be louder now when you open high external gates. It's literally going to sound like the gates of hell have opened. Fixed audio sometimes, that's officially what they said, gates of hell have opened. Fixed audio sometimes missing from the main menu background videos. Fixed loading music and not looping perfectly. Fixed impact audio firing when items are dropped onto supply crates. Fixed delay sound effects when walking through tall grass. Fixed tall grass when grass is walking through high sound effect. No, what I'm saying. Fixed some UI audio effects being skipped. All right, now we've got the most important thing ever. Skin fixes. And what do you guys think of that bread skin? I was going to make a whole video just going into that because it is ridiculous and not in a good way, but another time. Fixed some skin previews not displaying correctly in the store. Fixed some items losing their skins when dropped. Fixed some lighting and texture issues on skinned weapons. Fixed some skin previews being the wrong size, fade out, or not centered. Fixed issues caused by stacking skinned and default satchel charges. So here's what you can get from this. I don't actually know if there's any skins for satchel charges, so it sounds like they are going to be releasing skins for satchel charges, which is cool to see. In addition to that, the skin fixes aren't actually going to be able to be tried on the staging branch because there's no skins on the staging branch. So all those skin fixes, assuming they don't break anything else in the game, are almost definitely going to the main branch. As far as all these other fixes go, I guess that a majority of these are going to be seen in the, what day is it? Probably the April update. The fishing rod, I'd expect to see that again in April. A lot of this stuff, they're nice quality of life fixes. Adding fishing adds that whole new element for a lot of role players. In addition to that, it gives people something to do besides just killing each other, right? Like, now you can go out fishing, you can open some sort of fishing shop, you can do a little bit more just around role playing and just actually playing Rust as more of a PvE game. I think that's a really good turn of events because right now Rust is just this sweaty, like hour-focused, recoil-focused, clan-focused PvP survival game that just takes things up to the max. Instead of having like a good weapon that took you 10 minutes to find in Fortnite or Warzone, it's a good weapon that took you hours and hours and hours to get to in Rust. And the fact that someone can just take that all away from you instantly, that really amps the stakes up. But having fishing rods and all that, that's going to add another sort of element to the game. Or maybe we're going to get some more casual players to help balance out the servers. Because let's be honest, like having an enemy, having someone who's good at PvP or you're equal in PvP is nice. But having other players around that are role-playing, sort of just playing a little bit of a different game from what you're doing, is also something that's pretty cool to see because it adds more depth to the environment, it adds more depth to your wipe, and overall it's just a better feel for everybody in my opinion. But yeah, I really like all these changes that I'm seeing. I think this is a really positive way to go for the console version of Rust. And I think that because we're seeing them sort of adding these features in here and there, not following the default structure that was laid down by Facepunch with the PC version of Rust, there's some hope for some really cool stuff to come in the future. Because honestly, like, they could keep the map size small. They could add more role-playing elements in. They could move the focus away from just PvP and raiding to more of this like role-playing, interacting with your environment, talking to the player type game. And I think that would be really cool to see. And I, for one, would greatly, I'd really welcome it. Especially on, there's a lot of potential on the Xbox and PlayStation servers, in my opinion, the one where there's crossplay. Because in crossplay, if you've got a team, and a lot of teams are PlayStation and Xbox players combined, they don't have any way to communicate on their systems without doing it in-game, which leads to people using voice chat more. And honestly, I think one of the detrimental things to Rust is people getting on Discord, people getting on these parties and just talking amongst themselves rather than interacting throughout the game. It's really annoying when someone can hear your call-outs and all of that, or your enemy can hear it, but it's more realistic and it adds a really different feel to the game, in my opinion. If you go back to PC Rust and you go to these servers where everybody's on the server actually communicating to each other rather than in these private calls, it does add a whole new element to the game, and it's a lot of fun, in my opinion. And I think adding some of these role-playing features, making the game feel a little bit more casual and a little less sweaty, is overall a good thing. Because, let's be honest, some of you do need to sweat, but not in the way that you're doing it right now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.